Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsy's Guitar World. So it is that time of year again, my yearly video with a look at my guitar collection. Now I reckon there's probably about 30 guitars, so this video may go on for some time. I'll try and just spend a minute on each one, a quick look at them. No matter how long this video takes you to watch, it took me a lot longer to make it, I can assure you of that. So yes, I'll have a brief look at each one. I don't imagine many are in tune, if indeed any are in tune, and they are in no particular order other than just pulling them out of the rack. So without any further ado, let's look at guitar number one. So this is a 2021 PRS S2 McCarty 594. Very much like a Les Paul. It's a very nice guitar, I've got to say. Now if you'd said to me prior to 2 weeks ago, Dunsy, do you ever plan on owning a PRS guitar? My answer probably would have been no. I have no intention of owning a PRS guitar. I was never particularly a fan of them. I barely played a couple in 40 years of playing guitar, but here we are. I own a PRS guitar and it's very nice. I'll be doing a full video on that nice guitar. This, I think, is my favourite guitar. It's a 1965 Gibson Melody Maker. It's so light, so resonant. The neck shape, neck profile is absolutely fantastic. Almost in tune. Now when I got this, it came with T-top pickups, which I have changed to higher output Seymour Duncans. It's just a lovely guitar, such a nice guitar to play. So that's a 1965 Gibson Melody Maker. This is a 1961 Gibson Melody Maker with original pickups, which I think have been rewound. Again, this is a very resonant guitar. The electrics have been replaced. I don't know if you can see the finish checking on that. It's like a Murphy Labs custom shop, except a tenth of the price. Skinny guitar. Comfortable neck profile, not as comfortable as 65, slightly different. It's had a headstock repaired at some point, which has been professionally fixed, but again, very resonant guitar. Not quite in tune. So there you go, 1961 Gibson Melody Maker. This is a 1982 Greco EGF 5660 with P90 pickups and no pickguard. Now these pickups sound great, but they are microphonic as hell, I have to say. I've even had them repotted, but if you're playing at any level of gain and volume, like in a rehearsal room, this is squealing microphonic feedback. But for recording, it's pretty good, you know, for the house. It's very good for recording in the house. E minor, almost in tune now. What's that? 1982 Greco, it's a mint collection EG 5660 based on a 1956 Gibson Les Paul gold top. Next guitar. This is a Squier J Mascis Jazzmaster. This is the first and only guitar Jazzmaster I've ever owned. It's for my shoegaze moments and my swerve driver moments. It's a lovely guitar. When's it from? 2018, I think. They have reissued these guitars, which is good. I bought this second hand. I probably bought it for more than what you can buy them for new. But I'm glad I got it, I've got to say. It's not a rosewood fingerboard, it's a Indian Laurel, I think, fingerboard. But nonetheless, a nice guitar. It's an Edwards, made by ESP, a 2005. Can't remember the model number, but it is based, or it is a copy of a Gibson Marauder from the 70s. But it has a few quite important differences from a Gibson Marauder. One, this plays really nice, and two, it sounds really nice, and three, I guess, it's a set deck. So it's an Edwards Marauder copy. I will put the model number somewhere in the video, I just can't remember it. It's almost in tune as well. Nice guitar. This is an Orville LPS 75, I can't remember the year, maybe 95, 96, which is again a really nice sounding guitar. I put a Tone Rider rock song, I think it is, a rock song in the bridge there, I wasn't overly impressed with the stock Japanese PF. I thought it was a bit lacking. I had this completely refinished. The top has been refinished. What a fantastic job Chris McIntyre did on that. Lovely playing guitar, this one. Nice feeling neck. See the logo on the top there. Orville. Not Orville by Gibson, but made in Japan. I think the main difference is, I think the Orville by Gibsons have a proper sort of lacquer finish, whereas these are poly. It's definitely poly now, it's been refinished. And the Orville by Gibsons have American Gibson electronics, whereas the Orville ones are Japanese electrics and stuff like that. 1978 Gibson Les Paul, all walnut construction, T-top pickups. It's seen a bit of use, this one. Again, you probably pay a fortune for that in the Gibson custom shop. Has a few dents and dings on the top. It has the original T-top pickups. It has an ebony fingerboard and a big headstock. 1970, oh, and Grover tuners. So I think this is all original, could be. Great playing guitars, these. I mean, they're the same sort of specs from the time as a 78 custom, I guess. It's got the same pickups. Ebony fingerboard. Could do with changing the strings. 1978 Gibson Les Paul. This is a 1980 Greco. Super real era, but not a super real guitar. I think these are super power. This is an EG 500 GS, I think. Mini humbuckers. Look how bright that is in the sun. With mini humbuckers. These are quite rare guitars. Much like the Greco gold top, the EG 5660. They don't seem to have made a lot of gold tops with P90s and mini humbuckers in that era. It's nice. I replaced the bridge pickup. Actually, when it came to me, the bridge pickup was a 1976 Gibson from a 1976 Les Paul Deluxe. Who would have thought of that? So I actually took that out and I put that in another guitar, which I'll show you in a minute. And I had Bare Knuckle Custom make me a Holy Diver mini humbucker, which sounds great in this. Sounds nice. Sounds nice compared with the stock Greco mini humbucker in the neck. So that's a 1980 Greco EG 500 GS. Nice guitar. It's a 1980 Gibson Firebrand. It's got the logo branded into the guitar, hence the Firebrand name. So much like the Les Paul from 1978, this has an ebony fingerboard as well. But I believe this to be mahogany, I think. And it has all these specks and dings from the factory. This is not a road wear roll, it has been played on the road. Grover tuners on these as well. So very similar to the Paul, but different construction in terms of bodywood. 1980 Gibson Firebrand. Now this is a dangerous guitar. I got this recently. It's obviously a Far East copy of an old American style guitar. And what have I done to this so far? I've changed the tuners because the tuners were honking. I've changed the pickups because the pickups weren't great either. These are the pickups out of an old Japanese Azumi Victory Series guitar that I had. And it sounds better than it did. And it stays in tune better than it did. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to keep this guitar for various reasons, but at this point in time, it is what it is. It's a copy of a Gibson guitar which has a Danger logo on it at this point in time. Nice guitar. This I call my OK Corral Yamaha SG from 1979, complete with a bullet hole. I'm not sure if it's a bullet hole. From the research I've done, it may well be that this was on the wall in a bar in Tokyo, believe it or not. It's certainly seen a bit of action. It has a few surface scratches on the front and back. But bizarrely, when this arrived, other than some binding needing replaced on the neck, all the electrics worked. And it sounds great. Coil taps work. everything like that. So I've used it at a couple of gigs so far, used it at a few rehearsals as well. It sounds great. Ebony fingerboard, ebony fingerboard, I believe. Could probably do with some work on the frets, but so I bought some new stuff for this. I bought the new plastics for it as well. And somebody who I know, I couldn't believe this, super kind for nothing, gave me the tailpiece and bridge from a 1979 SG2000. So I've done that, I've replaced those, got new plastics on the back as well. So I'm going to make a full video on this, just the sounds of this guitar, because it does sound great and there's so many different sounds. So that's a 1979 Yamaha SG1000. Nice guitar. A Fender Japan Ritchie Kotzen Telecaster with a big beefy neck. The big beefy neck on this guitar. Lovely to play. I was a bit worried when I got it that the neck would just be too big for me, but surprisingly it's very comfortable even playing bar chords and stuff like that. Lovely guitar. I believe these are only made in Japan, Ritchie Kotzen Telecasters. When's this from? I don't know much about Japanese made in Japan serial numbers from recent times, but it is a lovely looking guitar, lovely playing guitar, lovely sounding guitar. Next up, a 1974 Gibson SG Special, I believe, because it's got the small mini humbuckers. Now, I'm not a big fan of SG guitars. I'm so used to playing Les Pauls. With SGs, everything just seems a bit more kind of move forward. And 70s SGs, some of them have tiny nut widths. But this is okay actually. This is comfy to play. It's not the biggest neck in the world, but it's substantial enough to make it feel comfortable. It has a few war wounds. You can see on that, certainly there. But it's a great playing guitar. Very bitey guitar. I've used it for quite a lot of recording at home. Never taken it to rehearsal yet. I think it may be quite microphonic, but I'll find that out at some point. Harmonica bridge, 70s harmonica style bridge. So yes, I think the tuners may have been replaced at some point. There's your 1974 Gibson SG Special. Next up is the only bass that I own, which has seen better days as well. So I only own one bass, and it's just this cheap bolt-on Greco, which used to be pink at some point. 3/4 scale, I think it is. It's not tiny short scale, kind of 3/4 scale. I'm a guitar player, so like playing a Thunderbird, they're too big for me and they're too long. So this is the only bass I own. It's some sort of Greco TVB 40 or TVB 45 or something like that from 2000. But sounds great. There's only one pickup that works. This one is an EMG that I've never even wired in, just to fill in the hole. So a Greco bass from 2000. Next up, another Japanese copy of a Gibson Marauder, which I've replaced the tuners. The tuners were garbage on this. And I have replaced the bridge pickup. This is a Music Lily double cream humbucker, which I got on Amazon for about £15 or something like that. Harmonica style bridge, bolt-on neck, made in Japan. So it's quite an accurate copy of a Gibson Marauder from the 70s. It's nice. I've used this at a few gigs as well. Ooh. So there was no logo on this, no badge on it when I got it. So could have been anything like a Shaftesbury or something like that, CMI or something. When it came to the UK, but it's nice guitar. Traded this with my mate Robbie. Cool guitar. Next up, it's a 1986 Fender Japan Strat. This is a contemporary Strat, which had this System 1, I think it is, trem, which I've lost all the parts for, and it's now blocked, and it's got the Rock sticker, North Carolina Speedway. So yes, this has had a few dents and dings. You see from the top. I think I actually tried to age this. If you ever try to age one of these guitars, you will find out within 5 or 10 minutes that the poly is so thick, you'll be there for weeks trying to age it. Now, a previous owner, I bought this, I think 1994. Previous owner has tried to home scallop it. But surprisingly, oh God, this is where there's a few dings on already. Surprisingly, it plays okay. Now, at one point in time, now you're watching this video saying, oh, that stupid old Scottish guy's got, why does he need all these guitars? Well, at one point, probably in 1997, this was the only guitar that I owned. I'd sold everything, it's a long story, but I sold everything. This was the only guitar I owned until my friend gave me the Stevie Caster. So then for about a year, I only owned 2 guitars, and this was one of them. So I owned loads of guitars before that, sold everything, only owned this. Now I've got loads of guitars, as you'll see from this video. So that's your 1986 Fender Japan Contemporary Stratocaster. Oh, I have changed the bridge pickup out to a bare knuckle Irish Tour 74. Nice guitar. Now I own the J Mascis Jazzmaster, so I thought the only decent thing to do would be to buy a J Mascis Telecaster. It's a great guitar, I really like it. The neck is so comfortable, like it's worn in, kind of road worn. Mexican made. The blue sparkle is, you probably won't pick it up on the camera, but the blue sparkle is beautiful. This came with the pickups out of phase in the middle, which generally seems to be rubbish. So I changed that back to the normal Telecaster settings. And what I also did was I put a bare knuckle boot camp Telecaster pickup in it, which has more grunt, and it sounds great, it sounds really good. Used this at a few rehearsals. Lovely guitar. So that's a Fender Mexico J Mascis Telecaster. Next up, a 2019 Gibson 50s Standard. A lovely top on this. Sorry for all the reflections, it's quite bright outside today, and I am using natural light in my video. So 2019 Gibson 50s Standard. Chunky necks on these. Nice, got to say nice. That's in tune. I like this one. I got a loan of one of these. I was doing a gig in Belgium at some big festival called W Fest, and I asked for a Les Paul and a Marshall, and they gave me one of these, just a loan of it for a 50-minute set, brand new. And I was like, oh, I need to get one of these. I don't own many new Gibsons. Most of my Gibsons are sort of 70s, late 60s Gibsons, but this is nice guitar. 2019 Gibson 50 Standard. Next up, a 2016 Gibson Pete Townshend Artist Model 1976 Les Paul Deluxe with a DiMarzio Super Distortion in the middle. Nice guitar, very accurate to 70s Les Paul Deluxes. I think they only made 150 of these, quite a rare guitar. Don't really play much. It's funny, you know, you get to the stage where you own guitars that are worth a decent bit of money and you don't end up playing them because you don't want to get dinged. There's a few lacquer checks sort of there on this, but it's a nice guitar, nice playing guitar. 2016 Gibson Pete Townshend Artist Series 1976 Les Paul Deluxe. Next up, another Greco, this time a 1983 EG, I think this is a 5970 or a 5985. It has double trick pickups in it. It's had a lot of damage, and the one thing it's had, you may not be able to see this, I'll put the links to like all these guitars where I've featured them in videos. It's had a tremolo on it, it's had like a Fender tremolo on it. Why would you do that to a Les Paul? If you want a Fender tremolo, why a Fender? So yes, a 1983 EG 59 something, 70 or 85. Lovely playing guitar, sounds really good, used this at a few gigs. This is one of these guitars which is, I'm happy to take out because there's so many dings and dents on it that if I drop it, I mean, as long as I don't break the neck off, break the headstock off, I'm not too worried if it gets a ding, you know, if some drunk person, including myself, bangs into me and gets a dent on it, I'm not too worried. So 1983 Greco EG59. Next up, a 1979 big headstock Les Paul, Gibson Les Paul Standard. with the sort of tulip tuners. Flat frets. I always find that difficult to say when I'm looking at this guitar. Flat frets on this lovely guitar. I think it's at least a 3-piece top, like all the 70s Les Pauls. Not overly heavy like early 70s Les Pauls. This is maybe about, I don't know, £9 or something like that. Almost in tune as well. Has the original T-top pickups. Nice sounding guitar. I think that tailpiece has been replaced. A few dings and dents and stuff. Again, it's bright outside, so it skews all the reflections. Probably could do with being refretted at some point. Fella's wonder. It's nice. That's your, find a pic here, 1979 Gibson Les Paul standard. Next up is a rather fancy, oh, noises. Need to investigate that. It's a rather fancy Greco Zematis, Japanese made copy of a Zematis. Although is it a copy? I think they're officially licensed to make these. Now this belonged to my mate Mike. He has put DiMarzio pickups in this. It has an ebony fingerboard. It's got a slim neck, normally slimmer than I would normally use, but it sounds great, plays really good, and it looks super cool on stage. I can't remember the model number because it's got loads of letters and stuff like that, numbers, so I'll put the model number somewhere on screen and a link to the video I did on this. So that's your, when's it from? 2004? 2004? Your Greco Zematis. Cool looking guitar. Next up is another Greco, an EGF 850 from 1980. These are really nice guitars, as I've said in other videos. These are some of the best sounding and best playing Les Pauls I've ever had. That includes Gibsons as well. Now I have, as you've seen, I have Gibson Les Pauls, but these PU2 pickups sound really nice, and it's a big chunky neck on these Super Real EGF series. I've got chunky necks. So it's a 1980 Greco EGF 850. Next up, now for something a little bit different. This is a 1980 Aria Pro 2 Michael Schenker Flying V. Look at that. That is classic metal. As you go. So yes, don't see too many of these. I think Aria did a version of a Schenker V, but it had the different headstock. It didn't have the normal V headstock. I think that was maybe 83 or 84, but this is it's like an old school copy of Michael's guitar. I think this is all original apart from a Seymour Duncan, which I think is a JB, which has been put in the bridge. A cool metal guitar. Next guitar is another Greco, another EGF 850. This one says it on the back. Greco EGF 850. This one's from 1981. Now the previous one has had the pickup covers removed and has been refretted. This one is 100% original, has the covers on the PU2s and still has the original frets. Fretting, binding, like I said on the other one, chunky necks on these EGF series guitars by Greco. Beautiful guitar, beautiful. Now it is a maple top, but it does have a flame veneer on top of the top. But they're nice. Next up. Now I'm not a Strat guy, but here's my second Strat. This is a Greco, I think it's an SE 800 from 1979. Now these, it's an SE 800 Jai based on one of Jeff Beck's Strats. Now these had, instead of like a blade switch, it'd have switches for each of the pickups for on, off and phase. But when I got it, it was trashed, all the electrics were goosed, as we say in Scotland. So I've replaced the scratch plate and all the pickups. I've got Wilkinson, I think high output, bridge and neck, and what's in here? Fender Noiseless, a Fender Noiseless Strat pickup. And it's got some Japanese engraving in there. Lovely guitar. It's got a bigger neck than a lot of Strats that I've played. It was the filthiest guitar which I've ever owned. When it came, it was so covered in cigarette smoke, fag reek, as we say in Scotland. It took ages to get it cleaned up, but it's a lovely playing guitar for a Strat. But yes, I've used this at quite a few rehearsals. It sounds good, sounds really good, and I enjoy playing it. Next up. So as well as not really being a Strat guy, I'm not really an SG guy, so here's my second SG. This is older than the other one. This is a 1972 Gibson SG Deluxe. Oh man, to get that Bixby, sorry, it's so tight. Now what I love about these is the stamped, the embossed Gibson on the pickup covers. Now if you're ever thinking of getting one of these, as I said about the previous one, the nut width on some 70s SGs is ridiculously skinny. This, what's that? Ugh, from the case. This is super skinny. I mean, it's difficult to even finger like chords down here. And it's not in tune, so I won't finger any chords. But it sounds fantastic. The T-top pickups on this, the size of a headstock. The T-tops on this sound great. There's no bevels in the cutaways either, and there's no angle on the neck from the body. It's just a strange era of Gibson SGs, but it's nice. It's a 1972 Gibson SG Deluxe, a 2019 Gibson custom shop 57 Junior cherry red VOS, big chunky neck on this one as well. Lovely sounding guitar, lovely sounding P90. I've never taken this out of the house. I bought it used, so I got a good deal on it, but these are about, I don't know, £3,500 or something like that. Crazy money for guitars, but it's a nice guitar. I probably don't take it out of the house because I don't want to get a bang on it, which is madness. You know, you own a really nice guitar, you're scared to get a ding on. I guess I've got other guitars which I'm not scared to get a ding on. So that's your 2019 Gibson Custom Shop 57 Junior. Next up, another Gibson from 2019. Must have been a good year for Gibson, a good year for me buying them. I'm not a fan of buying new guitars. I did buy this one new. I got a crazy discount on this. I think this was the last one that Guitar had in stock when they were clearing out the 2019 models. So this is a DC Special Tribute, which is a cool looking guitar. It's not sort of poly finished or anything like that. There's not a thick finish on it. You can let the wood breathe. Apparently you get a better tone. I have customised this to put a DiMarzio Super Distortion in the bridge. I love this combination of pickups, high output bridge pickup and a P90. This is the stock P90, which I changed the cover out to cream. So it's a cool little guitar. I got it cheap. I think I paid, I don't know, £600 for this. So while there are Gibson guitars which are incredibly expensive, there are Gibson guitars which are not that expensive relative to other Gibson guitars anyway. So there you go, 2019 Gibson DC Special Tribute. Next up, this beautiful pink paisley Telecaster is made by Tokai, made in Japan. Now there is no date anywhere on this, but I believe these were like a limited run in 2012, I think. Classic look, the James Burton look. Unfortunately I can't play like James Burton. This is all original Tokai Japan Telecaster from, I think, 2012. Look at that. Next up, another 1960s Gibson Melody Maker. This is 1963, I believe. It's had all the finish stripped off it. It's a rock and roll machine. It has a Super Distortion style of humbucker. It was a single pickup guitar when it was original. It's all covered in dust. It's been in a case because I'm going to get this refinished at some point. But super light, super resonant, nice feeling neck as well. The 60s Melody Makers, certainly the ones from 61, 63 and 65 that I have, the neck shapes are really good. I believe they went to a much slimmer neck shape when they went to the SG shape in 66, I think. This is a cool rock and roll machine. It's had the tuners replaced on Not entirely sure what those tuners are. It's cool. It's your 1963 Gibson Melody Maker. Next up is the legendary Stevie caster. Known as the Stevie caster because it has not just one, if you can see that there, but two Stevie Nicks holograms. Now this was a gift. My friend gave me this in 1997, like I said, with that Japanese Strat, the Fender one. At one point in time that was the only guitar I had, and then he gave me this. I've changed the bridge pickup, changed the neck pickup, changed the electrics. It's the same tuners, original neck, original body. I've changed the pick guard, and I've had it refretted because I've played it so much. Great guitar, and for free as well. A free guitar. There's no better guitar than a free guitar. We're on the final furlong. I think there's only a couple to go. So next up is a pretty rare 1981 Hamer Graphic Special. Serial number there, inked on, with the checkerboard logo. Now, I joined a Hamer fan group on Facebook. I'm not really sure how many of these were made, but they've only found pictures of like less than 50 of these guitars. They were all unique guitars. It has a slimmer neck than what I thought before I got it. I didn't play it before I bought it. Bought it online about 2 years ago or something like that. It's got a slimmer neck because I'd read it's a 59 neck on this, but it seems to be a bit slimmer than that. But it's lovely. It has the original DiMarzio PAFs. Well, I think one of them is perhaps a replacement. I don't think they came with two double creams. Now this one has had a Kaler on it. My mate Mike fixed that. A Kaler on one of these. It's a lovely guitar, rare as well. Very Cheap Trick. I'd try and play a Cheap Trick song, but I would be prepared to bet this is nowhere near in tune. So that's your 1981 Hamer Graphic Special. Now I think I've one more to go. Finally, we're at the last one, although there's one, my Azumi Victory series, which I took the pickups out of for the modern copy, is up there in the wardrobe, so there's no point in showing that because it's in bits. So I got this a few weeks ago. This is my latest acquisition. This is a 1990s Fender Japan Mustang. Still got the strap on it. I'm not going to do the strap on joke because I was using it at practice the other day there. Now the one thing I have done to this, since you saw the last video, I have put a Seymour Duncan JB Junior in there, which I've had to put in backwards. More on that later. I'm doing a full video about upgrading the pickup on this. I love this. I don't know why I never got a Mustang guitar sooner. I think I was just worried the scale was too short, and I thought, I don't know, but I'm so glad I got this. I am loving this. So that is my guitar collection in October 2023. I've had to pull them out of cupboards and everything, as you can see behind me. All the cases are stacking up and I need to put them all away. Now I did go through that very quickly, maybe speaking very quickly as well, but I will label every guitar when it comes on screen, and where I've made a video about the guitar, I'll put a link to that as well. Now if I haven't made a video about any of these particular guitars and you'd like me to do one, please do let me know. So I'm maybe going to make a follow-up video to this as well, because people will be watching this saying, why has that guy got so many guitars? Does he need all those guitars? Well, the thing is, I don't need all those guitars, but in a future video I'll let you know why I have them. As ever folks, it's a privilege and a pleasure bringing you content on Dunsy's Guitar World. Cheers for now.